One day, you may realize that the most painful thing is not failure. It's knowing you're heading in the wrong direction and staying long enough for it to become your life. Day after day, year after year, not because you don't see it, but because you keep hoping things will somehow work themselves out. They rarely do. That's why I'm no longer afraid of failure. What I fear now is waking up one day and realizing I stayed too long in a life that never truly belonged to me. I used to think failure meant losing money. Then I lost money. I used to think failure meant losing everything. Then I lost almost everything. And I survived. But there was something I nearly lost: myself. And I almost lost it so slowly I didn't even notice. There was a period of my life when the first thing I thought about every morning was work, and the last thing I thought about before falling asleep was work. I called it responsibility. I called it hard work. I called it being an adult. Looking back, I think much of it was fear. Fear of starting over, fear of losing what I had built, fear of being seen as a failure. So I kept going, even after my heart had already left. The frightening part is nobody noticed, including me. From the outside, everything looked fine. The work looked fine. Life looked fine. The future looked fine. Only one thing wasn't. Me. Some lives look perfectly fine from the outside, but the person living them left a long time ago. Maybe you know that feeling. You keep doing what you've always done. You keep meeting expectations. You keep playing the role everyone expects you to play. Yet somewhere inside, a question refuses to disappear. Is this really the life I want to live? See, and instead of answering it, we stay busy. Busy enough that we can no longer hear ourselves. It took me years to understand this. Not every success belongs to you. There were goals I spent years chasing, only to realize they were never mine. A title, a position, a beautiful house, a life admired by others, but not my life. And that's when I realized something. Failure wasn't what kept me stuck. Fear was. Fear kept me staying in work that no longer meant anything, staying in versions of myself I had already outgrown, staying in a life that had become too small. We call it stability. Maybe it's just fear wearing a more respectable name. Then life does what life often does. A door closes, a plan falls apart, something ends, and we call it failure. Looking back, I'm not so sure, because some failures don't destroy your life. They remove what no longer belongs to you, even if you can't see it at the time. Over the years, I started fearing something else. Not failure, but success. Inside a life that isn't yours. because failure may hurt for a few years, but living the wrong life can cost you an entire lifetime. Silence. So perhaps the real question isn't how many times have you failed? Maybe the real question is, well, how long have you stayed where your heart left long ago? If these words found something inside you, I've written more about my journey, the years spent chasing success, the times I lost my way, the losses, and the road that eventually brought me back to myself. You can start here. tuantran.net/start-here. And if you'd like to receive the letters I write each week, for those moments when the world feels too loud, you can find me on Substack. But before you go, I'd like to leave you with one final question. If failure no longer frightened you, what would you stop doing?